Chazal on this week's parsha vayigash stated oilanu miyom adin oilanu miyom atochocha, that a person should know the awe of the day of judgment, the day of tochocha. Shelo yochlu the shvatim lamod betochachto shel Yosef. They were unable to face Yosef when he gave them tochacha. Nalachas kama v'kama sheyochiach HaKadosh Baruch Hu kol echad ve'echad aponav. So much more so if heaven will reprove us. They'll say, why did you do this and why did you do that? So the Meforshim all raised the problem. We do not find that Yosef gave them tochacha. Yosef never said to them anything. In fact, Yosef says the opposite. Atem chashavtem alai ra, Elokim chashov l'tova. You did me a favor. We don't find. So where's the tochacha here? Where did Chazal take it from? The Porsche, they take it because in the Pasuk it says, "V'lo yochlu echov lanos also kinivalu mipono." They had no words to say. When he said Ani Yosef, that was it. It blew up the whole story. So they were unable to say anything. So from that they understood that there was tochacha. But there's another thought here that certainly plays into this. Yehuda has no defense for Yosef because he says, Misha Nimtza Govia, they found the cup, and they found the cup by Binyamin, and the Shvatim were convinced that Binyamin was guilty. In fact, they said, Ganav ben Ganav. He inherited that trait from his mother. His mother stole also a trophy from the father. So what was Yehuda's defense? What's the whole speech that he makes to Yosef? It's about my father. That my father will not survive it. How could I go up and I won't be there? How can I see what my father's pain? So his whole defense is his father. So Yosef, in effect, called him out to be a hypocrite. Because Yosef's only tochacha to them was, his first words to them were, Ani Yosef, ha'od avichoi. My father's still alive. So that's not a rhetorical question because he knows that his father's alive because they told him that before. On this visit, when they came, he said, I asked how they are and their father is good. So unless he was chosher, they were lying here. But basically, they told him that Yaakov is alive. So what did he ask again? Ahud avichoi. So the Meforshim say, Ahud avichoi is the tochacha. You mean my father lived through this? You put him through this and he lived through it and he's still alive? You're telling me you can't go back because Yaakov will have tsar? How about the 20 years of tsar you gave him? How about everything that happened? So that's the tochacha. So the tochacha is always on hypocrisy. It's always on using so to speak, moral or sympathetic arguments to cover up deeds that were wrong. So we see it in our world all the time. There's something called the higher good. So you can do anything because of the higher good, right? Stalin could kill 50 million people because of the higher good. He's going to bring the world to greatness. So that is the root of hypocrisy. If you're worried about the higher good, what about the plain good? What about the plain Russian peasant that you killed for no reason? Or the millions of people you put in the gulag on? What if you're worried about the higher good? And we see it played out in our time in politics for sure, where all things that are really unfair and immoral are done all because of a more noble purpose. And we cover it up by saying that's the moral purpose that's involved. So when he said, that was the Yom Adin, Yom HaTochacha. That was itself the strongest Tochacha. Because you're telling me, he said, you can't go back, V'anari nenu iti, V'nafsho kshura b'nafsho. You're telling me a whole speech here. How we can't, how can I see my father's son? What do you mean? Don't tell me that baloney, Yosef says. He says, you saw it for 20 years and you were quiet. I mean, it was 9 years, whatever it was. So you were quiet. That didn't bother you. So now you tell me that that's your defense? And that's why lo yochlu echod lano so. So that for that they had no answer. Because that really blew up the whole excuse, the whole drama ends there. Kinifhalu miponov. They were shaken by it. So that's why Chazal said, "Oy lonu miyom adin, oy lonu miyom hatochacha." It's not only the actions that we do or we do not do, it's the excuses that we give. And the excuses are, if you really held like this, then why did you do this and why did you do that? It's all contrary to what you're doing. I used to always feel that way when I had the yeshiva in Muncie, when Muncie was still safe. Shrek. It's the middle of the heart of the Jewish Muncie, it's a good neighborhood, everybody, nothing, people still don't lock their doors. So anyway, when I had the yeshiva in Muncie, so there always was a problem with tuition. We had a very low tuition, but we had a tuition. We couldn't survive without it. And people would come with excuses. But I always refrained from arguing. I gave it over to a tuition committee. I stayed out of it. Plenty of enemies were made. But, if you can afford Pesach in Florida, then why can't you afford the tuition? I mean, that's the guy. So that was the excuse. The excuse they used is, I got to go Pesach to Florida. How can I pay your tuition? So that's what Yosef said to them. That's can't be, right? That's why Yivhalu Miponov. That's why they were so shocked, because the excuse turned into the Aveira. The excuse turned into the Yom Adin. The excuse turned into the Yom HaTochacha. So that's a message that Chazal wanted us to incorporate in our minds, at least. Be careful with excuses, because they may turn around and bite us. Chananya ben Akash Omer Rotzah Kodesh Baruch Hu L'Zakot Yisrael L'Pincho Chir B'Leim Torah Mitzvah Shenemar Adonai Chavei Tzamon Tzidko Yagdil Torah V'Yadir.
Only the content of what we say,